Marcus Eikenberry, and I'm here with Ramirez.
Shortened to Rams later, also known as Brit Fry in real life.
So we're doing these videos for the 10th anniversary of Marquee Dragon, and you may have already seen some of them. If not, go through the post history and see the other earlier stuff that we talked about. We also have, well, our topic today is about the original Rares forum.
Right, that was my main connection to the Marquee Dragon site. That's how I got involved in everything. And that was really probably where I did most of my work. I did a lot of work later, but it was mostly in the Rares forum that I did most of my work.
Yeah, the Rares forum, we had our community site, the UO Mall site, which had some news on it. Wasn't very interactive. I had a lot of people sending me emails, and we would post some of those and stuff. But what do you remember about the forums?
Well, the forums, I originally started...
Excuse me, forum.
Exactly. There was only one at the time.
Yes, there was no such thing as multiples.
Yes, and they were not, it was not very stable. We were using front page extensions, you said?
Yeah.
And they had to be reinstalled all the time because we kept
daily.
breaking them.
Yes, if you did over, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had something to do with traffic or site size, that you got over 100 megabytes of traffic per day or over 100 megabytes of size of posts, that it would instantly break the front page extensions, and the only known fix was to reinstall them.
Yeah, and we also had problems with thread sizes, where if we got too many pages in a particular thread, it would break the forum. So we had to break up threads all the time. And that was the problem we kept having throughout versions of forums. Whenever we moved to UBB, there was something before UBB. I don't remember what we used before that.
We used, it was Nuke, post Nuke specifically.
Yeah. And yeah, all of them had that problem for a while. Eventually it disappeared, but I started as a member. We didn't actually have volunteers originally.
There was no such thing whenever we started that. There was no such thing as volunteers.
There was just a forum that Marcus put up, and there were members, and that was about it. And I just posted all the time. I did a lot of studying on Rares and kind of became the authority on Rares and was posting all the time in the Rares forum, and eventually Marcus made me the moderator. Or we don't remember if we actually had posting editing powers, but it was at least an unofficial title of some kind.
Yeah, we probably just titled him because the old front page forum was really like the simple guest book stuff that you see on old websites sometimes, where you just say, oh hey, hi, I was here, and then the next person replies to that, oh yeah, hey, I was here too. And it really was as simple as that. But it was amazing because we would have 1,000 posts in a day, and we didn't know what the hell to do with it.
Yeah, I was sitting there when I was moderating, and I would, anytime I had spare time, I'd be logged into the Rares forum, and I would basically hit refresh constantly, just watching new posts, read, reply, go back to the forum, refresh, 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 and I'd be able to do that for hours. It was essentially a chat room, just in a message board format. That's how busy it was.
So let's talk a little bit about what happened when we started this forum. Not only, you know, that our issues that we had in the forums were becoming so popular, but what happened in the market in general?
Well, the market was interesting because originally Rares were an error. They were a programming error for the most part, where OSI, later EA, didn't lock down items. Everything in the game was an item of some kind. It was a tile or a object that was placed on a tile, and they had to lock down all of those items, and some of those did not get locked down, and people could pick them up. The repeatable rares were things that, like the fruit bowl in U, where I suppose every day the server would go through and replace items that had disappeared that were supposed to be there. So every day people would show up to pick up the fruit bowl, and the actual amount of information about Rares wasn't very high. There wasn't a consolidated place to find all that information. So that's why the Rares forum was so popular. The Rares market was quite large because people wanted all these things to decorate their houses. And so
that was really big in UO, by the way. If you didn't play UO,
yes.
The ownership in the game, having a house, being able to decorate it, being able to show it off to others, even others that, you know, weren't friends and stuff, somebody could walk by and see all the stuff in your house.
Right.
And some people have very impressive displays of items and wealth, and it was very impressive, like in our last video where we talked about the water tiles.
Yes,
it was
those
very impressive to walk into somebody's house. They didn't necessarily have to give you permission to walk into their house, but
later they did, but
yeah,
not
later
in the
they
beginning.
did, not in the beginning. And you'd walk in and see somebody had a water tile, and you'd go, wow!
Later, there were people that collected so many of them that they had waterfalls and things like that set up in their houses. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of people wanted these items, and they were willing to pay quite a lot for them. So people wanted information about how to get them themselves without having to pay the money, or how to get them and sell them, or
Right.
how much to charge for them. And that was the information that was going back and forth mostly. And it spawned over into other types of items like exceedingly hard to get swords or something like that. But it was mainly about rares, the server error type rares, where
And there was different types of rares. There was like server birth,
yes,
which when the server came up day one, you know, what was some of the stuff you could grab?
I don't remember. The tiles were something like that, I believe.
And I believe there was some doors.
Yeah.
Some particular rocks.
It's been so long since I've looked at this information, I don't remember. Yeah, I remember we actually spent a lot of time figuring out how this stuff...
And the two-story statue.
Yes, there was a two... Oh, yeah,
the talking statues.
Yes. And that was a server birth, I remember.
Yeah.
But the problem was nobody knew how this worked at first. When we started the Rares Forum, nobody knew the patterns.
Even EA, or excuse me, OSI, did
no
not
clue.
know how this worked. They were all, this is not supposed to be able to happen. You are not supposed to be able to own a water tile.
Right.
And in fact, they would waffle back and forth a bit. Sometimes it was an exploit to own one.